Albert Breer mentions the Chicago Bears as a potential suitor for a talented defensive end from the Detroit Lions. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Plus, Jaylon Johnson, Kyler Gordon, and Jaquan Brisker trained together this offseason. Where's Tyreek Stevenson? We're going to talk about all that, plus dive into the mailbag and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Tara Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go to get into this content today, y'all. Albert Breer has been talking a lot about the Chicago Bears, and one of the more, I think, objective people that talk about the Chicago Bears said this. In regards to the Bears potentially going after Za'Darius Smith, we'll see what happens there. He says this. Za'Darius Smith says this. I think that's all relative to what's out there. So they'll get a look at DeAndre Swift and Roschon Johnson at running back, and Montez Sweat and Dayo Odeyingo, who plays some inside on passing downs on the edges when the pads go on. And then maybe consider guys such as Jamal Williams at running back or Za'Darius Smith as an edge rusher. Now, here's the thing. Za'Darius, right? What Za'Darius Smith, is he a player that the Chicago Bears should look to add? And the way that I look at Za'Darius is that it could be very similar to like having Andrew Billings here, right? A veteran that maybe not gets in the way. I still think the Bears are very committed to Dayo Odeyingo. I've said it multiple times before. I think with Dennis Allen identifying Dayo very early on as a guy that he wanted on the Chicago Bears team, that he's going to get every opportunity to succeed, right? But then you look at Za'Darius Smith, a guy that's pretty old when it comes down to it, if we're being honest with you. He played in Detroit last year and Cleveland. He split between those two teams. But when you look at it, last year he had a combined 9 sacks still at his age after being in the league for 10 years, still being able to have that level of production. I'm not mad at bringing that guy in to help shore up the defensive line at all. And if, and have another solid veteran piece out there, I actually think that that's a guy that really would be a lot with what the Bears need and what they look at. At 32 years old, has still been productive, like I said, as of just last year. And he gave 4 sacks in 8 games for Detroit last season and helped them go on to secure the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Now, they didn't have much success in the playoffs, but still there. The size that he has is the size that Dennis Allen does like at that defensive end, and could be like one of those safety nets there for Dayo Odeyingo, and be a mentor as well for players like Austin Booker and Daniel Hardy and things like that. I think having a veteran there on that edge that has done it at a high level before, even though, like I said, Dayo Odeyingo is a player that's been in the league for a handful of years himself and has been pretty productive, but having a veteran there that you're not necessarily looking to reclaim any of their former glory, you're just looking at them to bring some stability to that defensive line. That's kind of more so the type of acquisition that I would expect the Chicago Bears to go after, right? Not to say, not the big name players or anything like that some people have mentioned before, but a solid veteran acquisition that can play off for the Chicago Bears, that can help this team quite a bit. I'm not mad at that. I think Smith can bring a lot. Za'Darius Smith can bring a lot to the Chicago Bears team and what they potentially need as far as depth. And that's the thing, we don't have for sure depth. When I talked about my confidence level in the Bears defensive line, one of the things that I raised as far as the question is that it's just a lot of question marks there. A question on Dayo Odeyingo and if he's going to be able to step up as a starter, as a full-time starter. What is that going to look like? Somebody who's had really good snap per production count production before. But I think when you look at it, that doesn't always project out the right way, right? So that's a question there. And Austin Booker in his second year, still a question there. Daniel Hardy, who was a preseason darling for the Bears, still a little bit of a question there, right? So in bringing in some people that have kind of more sure things and more solid baseline, I don't think that'd be bad for the Chicago Bears at all. I think it'd be something that could be a good deal if they decide to go out there. Now, they're going to, per what Albert Breer said, they're going to go into training camp and take a hard look at what they have. This is not something that they're going to make a decision on real soon or anything like that. They're going to give a very solid look and a solid opportunity for the players that they already have to continue earning their role in the show. Hey, are we going to be okay on that depth? But if they come out of that training camp period after 2 weeks in training camp or whatever, one preseason game, and they still have questions about it, Za'Darius Smith isn't necessarily the worst case that you can bring in here for the Chicago Bears. But let me know what you guys think on it below. In the case of bringing in Smith here just to be a solid veteran depth piece for this team, let me know what you guys think on that down below. Now, with that said, and somebody left a comment on this yesterday after the episode, and that was that Jaylon Johnson, Kyler Gordon, and Jaquan Brisker have been training together this offseason, and they've been working out together and running drills and doing all that type of stuff out in Las Vegas together. They've also been working with Seattle Seahawks cornerback Tyler Hall as well. And it seems like they've been running a lot of drills with trainer Jimmy Johnson, this is Jaylon Johnson's brother. And so this is a secondary that we talked about. We graded the secondary as well. My confidence level in the secondary, really high confidence in what the secondary to be. I graded it at an 8.5. That's after I would have graded it about a 9.5 last year, so a whole point down. But this Bears team, this Bears cornerback, our secondary is there to wreak havoc. Right? That Jaquan Brisker said that specifically. They're there to wreak havoc. And so the fact that they're getting in some reps, that they're working with a trainer, that they're trying to get ahead of that curve before training camp, that's what you want to see here. Now, we'll see how much it ends up helping the Chicago Bears, but there's no doubt about it that between health and other things, that the Bears secondary did not perform up into the level that we had it projected to be coming into the season. Now they have an opportunity to do that. The drills that they were running were sprints, sled pushes, press coverage reps, footwork, and even more. And I think all those things help. Keep in mind, we're going to run a lot of more man coverage than what we did last year as well. So we're going to do that more under Dennis Allen than what we did under Matt Eberflus. And I think that's all great. I've said it many times before, as many of you have said it too, is that this team seems like it has almost a better personnel for more man coverage. And we never really ran into gave that a really good opportunity. So the fact that it's player-led workouts, which means that it's not nothing new. We've seen it happen before. Caleb has done it. Justin's done it while I was here before. It's happened. It's happened this season. But to see that Jaquan, Jaylon Johnson, Kyler Gordon are out there working, I think that's really good. Some people raise the question of why isn't Tyreek Stevenson out there? Again, I wouldn't take it and assume that means that he wasn't invited. It's the offseason. He could have family things going on. He could have different things going on when it comes down to it. So I'm not going to take that as a slight to Tyreek, even though I know some people are going to, of course, because of the Tyreek and the things going on, they're going to be like, do the windy. What does that mean? But overall, I'll say it's just good. Let's take the good from it and not necessarily try to make it anything bad. The good is that these guys are getting together, they're working in their private time, and they're trying to figure it out. And I think that shows the camaraderie that a team has. And when you're building off that in the personal relationships that you have, that's when those come together and you can do more than what the sum of the parts would kind of tell you. And this is already a group that the sum of the parts is really good. But if you keep working on that chemistry and building that camaraderie, that's what goes really far. And so they're going to come into training camp ready. They need to come into the regular season ready. Jaquan Brisker needs to stay ready and healthy during the regular season as well. So we'll see what's going to happen there. But I love seeing that the defensive backs are getting together. They're putting in work because, of course, what they do this season is going to be really important for the Chicago Bears. So there you guys go on that one. But let's move on to some speculation around the Bears before we get into the mailbag. And this one comes from an article from Bears Goggles On, in which they talk about Zach Pickens, saying this: when the Bears selected defensive lineman Zach Pickens in the 3rd round of the 23 draft, there were high expectations that he could be the next great starter on the line. The team is still waiting for him to step up. Pickens has played in 26 career games with a total of 39 tackles, 4 quarterback hits, 2 tackles for a loss and 1.5 sacks, 1 pass deflected, and 1 forced fumble. A groin injury caused him to miss significant time last year as he only played in 9 games. They then go on to say that Shamar Turner was one of the Chicago's 3 second-round picks in the 2025 draft to help the Bears add some depth to the tackle position. At Texas A&M, Turner was a great run stopper who can get off the line quickly and plug up the holes. Pause. So they are speculating that Zach Pickens could find himself on the outside looking in if Shamar Turner comes into training camp and takes his spot. And Pickens is a guy that, when we got Pickens and we got Javon Dexter, we thought, or there was some thought that maybe the Bears got their new defensive tackle rotation of the future. Now, Javon Dexter stepped up big time in year 2. Zach Pickens didn't necessarily make that leap. Now, Pickens is a solid run stopper. But again, when you have a new guy in Shamar Turner step up, as well as a new veteran in Grady Jarrett come, those opportunities become less and less. And Andrew Billings is still our best run stopper as it stands right now. Shamar Turner is a really good understudy for Billings as well, which could leave you to a path that Zach Pickens could be on the way out. Now, we know that Ryan Poles, as much as we could talk about a young player getting cut, Dominic Robinson is still on this team. Ryan Poles is a little bit slow to cut guys early that he drafted. And because of that, Pickens is going to have an opportunity. And I don't necessarily think Pickens is going to get cut as soon as this year, but I do think going into next offseason, especially if Shamar Turner shows that he could step up, it could leave some things, Pickens on the outside looking in even more, and maybe then it is a point where you think about cutting Shamar Turner. Zach Pickens. So Pickens has to come in here and be ready, as do a lot of people. And like I've said many times before, I think a spirit of competition in training camp is best for the team, it's best for the players, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. So hopefully Pickens realizes what's in front of him and what the players that are behind him that are ready to take his spot. And hopefully Pickens steps up. There would be nothing better than to say that we got 5 defensive tackles in Grady Jarrett, Javon Dexter, Andrew Billings, Shamar Turner, and Zach Pickens. If we have a solid enough rotation there, and keep in mind, you're going to be able to move some of those guys around, that depth is what helps. And so, again, the Bears need as much depth as possible. We can worry about who stays and who goes once we establish the depth. So Pickens still has an opportunity now, but you only have so much time. This is the NFL. You got to work hard to keep your job every single year. And when you don't, there's always going to be somebody there that's ready to pass you up and take your spot. So hopefully Zach Pickens can avoid that. If not, hey, it is what it is. But all right, let's get into the voicemails for today, man. This first voicemail that we got, this one's from Darius.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Old Darius from Dallas, man. I was just calling to give just a few comments, man, just a few. First thing is about as far as Cole Kmet, man, I know y'all know this is my boy and all, but I really wanted to talk about Colston Loveland because I just know how this negative-ass Chicago media is. If this guy comes out and he only averages 2 or 3 catches a game, y'all don't start calling him a bust. He needs to, I think we need to lower the expectations for Colston Loveland just a little bit. Because Cole Kmet is still a very, very good wide receiver, good tight end, I feel like. And I don't think he's been unlocked yet. I don't think he's had anybody that really knows how to use him. I was just listening to Jimmy Graham, the former, Saints tight end, Hall of Famer. I want to say it was a clip or something. Maybe it was a YouTube clip. And, they asked him, who he thought the top 5 tight ends in the league were. And he had Cole Kmet at number 2. He had Kelsey, Cole Kmet, and then he had Kittle. And the reason why I think he said that is because, Jimmy Graham does that thing where he trains with all the best tight ends every year in the off season. And I'm thinking he's just going based off of what he sees from a skill standpoint and a talent standpoint and ability standpoint, when it comes down to Cole. I think he's just going based off of what he sees when he trains with him in the off season, man. And, I'm thinking if a guy like that, who knows how to play the position well, he's just looking at his ability. There's something in there that needs to be unlocked. And I think that, multiple different people see that outside of the organization, man. We're the only Bears fans that's all negative because we listen to the fucking sports media. And speaking on that, I just kind of figured them out, man. Most of Chicago media is just lazy reporting. It's easy to go with the same old narrative every year. Oh, the Bears are bad. Let's find negative things. And it's lazy reporting, man. That's why I appreciate what Hayes and C-Dub and all y'all do, man, because you actually put the hard work in and actually analyze the situation. You tell us the real even when we don't want to hear it, but you look for reasons to find positive, outlooks on the team, man, and I really appreciate that because y'all all we got in that regard. Yeah, man, hey, as far as the guy on the mailbag, hey, man, you just got to come to the South, brother. There's a lot of people that sound like me out here. But yes, I am very much a Negro. But yeah, man, you got to get out to the South, bro. That's all I can say, man. In my head, I sound just like y'all. I don't notice it until somebody points it out. But yeah, anyway, man, I hope y'all enjoying your week and your weekend. Texas up, bear down.
Colston Loveland being called a bust if he only listen. I wish I could say that you're jumping the gun there, but you're not. That is how Bears fans operate, and it sucks. Like we are a team and a fan base that that collectively, I'm not talking about all of us individually, but collectively, they are so ready to make a judgment on a player, a knee-jerk reaction on a player right away, aren't they? Like that's just what the Bears community does. And so there are going to be some people that are absolutely, I would love to say that you're wrong there, but I can't. And in good conscience, I can't say that you're wrong there. And you're right, Cole Kmet has tons of talent. And, people have forgotten that a little bit. People have doubted that a little bit. And that's all fine and dandy. But he's going to have to go out and prove it. But I think that Cole Kmet, under this regime, under this offense, under these play callers, he has an opportunity to have a huge season. And I do expect him to have one. And him and Colston Loveland hopefully really build a tight end duo that we haven't really seen here in Chicago before. And that could really help the offense tremendously. So let's hope that that's going to be the case when it all comes down to it, man. Yeah, and as far as, giving the positive, I'll say this. Honestly, I don't even come into this show saying to look at good or look at bad. I just talk about the reality of what's there and keep it pushing. Like that's it. And I think too much in podcasting, people think that they either got to be good or they got to be real, which leads them to be negative. And the thing is, just talk about what's in front of you. Like, that's it. That's all. It's very simple for me. It's very simple for the guys. Like, I don't ever have to think about coming in positive or negative. I come in, I say my honest opinion. I usually try to even present counterpoints to my own personal opinion, and we keep it pushing. But the fact that you said Negro, that you are Negro, I don't think that helped your case at all a little bit, my boy. I think if anything, that may have hurt it a little bit. No, but shout out to Darius there. Shout out to everyone for supporting, man. We appreciate y'all. Let's get into this next voicemail, man. This next one that we have here is from Xavier.
What's going on, guys? This is Xavier calling in, man. And I just watched the show with Bobby and when they were talking about the Pro Football Focus grade for Caleb Williams. Now, I don't know how in the hell they got Caleb at, like, his floor is a bust, but his ceiling is Jordan Love, when his numbers were comparable to Jordan Love last year as a rookie. I don't understand it, bro. He had over 3,500 yards. Jordan Love had over 3,300. He had 20 touchdowns. Jordan Love had 25. He had, 6 interceptions. Jordan Love had 11. So, how can you say that his ceiling is Jordan Love when he already had damn near better year than him besides the touchdown? That makes absolutely no sense, bro. Like, we gotta stop doing that shit, bro. And it's like, bro, I feel like they want to bait the Chicago Bear fans to be outraged. They want to see us, like, go the fuck off and be angry and all that shit, bro. I'm not paying attention to none of this shit no more, bro, because I feel like I just want to see us go through training camp. I want to hear about everything in training camp. I want to hear about, you feel me, the progression, the hiccups that we have, and I want to see it on the field. And then once the season starts, I plan on us putting belt to ass, bro. I plan on Caleb having a great fucking year, bro. I plan on him throwing over fucking 4,000 yards, or if not 4,000, close to it, about 3,900, so 3,900. I plan on the touchdowns going up for him, and it's all depending on health and how he picks up Ben Johnson's offense. But the kid is learning, bro. He ain't up in here bullshitting. Ben Johnson said that he's really been with him every step of the way since he got hired. So the kid is trying to get better, bro. It's a lot of the time, bro, it's just fake outrage with Caleb Williams. They have a vendetta against this kid. I don't know what it is. Like I said before, man, it's like it's personal with Caleb, with a lot of these guys. And a lot of these people who make these wild ass assumptions that he's gonna be a bust, but JJ McCarthy is gonna be fucking ceiling is Joe Burrow and his floor is Sam Darnold. Well, the motherfucker didn't take a snap, and if you remember at Michigan, they ran the ball more than anything. We didn't see JJ McCarthy throw the ball like that. So how can you say that he's going to be on a Joe Burrow ceiling level? That makes no fucking sense when we haven't seen him play an NFL snap. But, man, that's all I got to say, man. Chicago up, Bear down.
The problem is that there are some Bears fans that share that thinking too. And that just is what it is. I've said it before. That's being a quarterback in the NFL. It comes with an undue amount of the acclaim and an unjust amount of the blame. That's being a quarterback in the NFL. It is what it is. That's the job that you accept. That is the risk hazard that you accept when you get this. I think it's way too early to call Caleb Williams silly. And that's not to throw any excuses for him. It just too is. When you look at the bad play calling, the bad protection, the bad coaching overall that we had here on this team, those things are alone to say, I can't really judge the exact ceiling of this guy. And like you pointed out, the numbers were comparable to some quarterbacks that were able to take their team to the playoffs. So, Caleb can get better. He has tons of areas that he needs to grow and get better on for sure, and he will grow and get better on that. At least that's the hope. That's if he's the quarterback that he says he wants to be, if he's the quarterback that Ben Johnson says that he can be, he's going to grow from that. And we need to start seeing some of that. And that's really just is what it is. I don't have to have a hot take about Caleb if he can be great or be good. No, it's going to be told out there on the football field. And then once whatever's told on the football field, we'll talk about, we'll evaluate, we'll discuss. That's going to be it. That's the end all be all. What the great separator is the production that you have on the field. That's what everybody's going to be judged by. The situations that go into that production, that's up for us to disseminate and stuff like that as we talk about the team at a high level. But that production on the football field, that is the end all be all. The success that you have there, that's the end all be all. Can he be successful? That's the only question that I have, and I'm going to give him my opportunity to prove it. Let's get into the next voicemail, man. This one's from Keys.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Keys on this lovely Sunday morning, man. Hope all is well with you and yours. With that being said, let's get into it. First off, I want to talk about and piggyback on the episode that Bobby and C-Dub had on Saturday with the comparisons of the quarterbacks. Where in the world do they get to comparing Caleb Williams to Jordan Love? I see no Jordan Love in his game in any way that to say is either he's Jordan, his ceiling is Jordan Love, or his floor is bust. Look, man, I think people just want to make news, like you guys always say, just to make themselves sound this very literate. But if you had to ask me two quarterbacks, I'm going to compare the quarterback that was drafted number one. I'm going to say Matthew Stafford is his floor. And then, his ceiling probably be close to, we want to say Aaron Rodgers, I'll go Aaron Rodgers. I'm just looking at build, body structure, and how the way he plays and what he does. Those are the two guys that I'm looking at if I'm going ceiling to floor. That's just how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? But Jordan Love or bust, come on, man. Now, and then what they gave, now I love JJ. He came from Michigan, but Joe Burrow, not even close, bro. I don't see it, but we'll see what it comes to. And then the other thing, I know people have made mention about defensive ends. We got to get another edge. So this is what I'm thinking. Could we see it where the New York Giants, they have a couple ends that are vets, one that got paid by them and one that was drafted by them, and they just drafted Abdul Carter. Could we see Kayvon Thibodeau being traded to the Bears? He's 6'5", 253, so I think the weight thing, which, the height and weight of what GA wants for his prototypical end, I don't know if it's necessary that he will fit, but he will probably he's a better player than what we signed in Deo, even though I think Deo might surprise some folks and actually play better. I think he might have a Mark Anderson type of year of, just being that guy. But we'll see what happens. But let me know what you think about Kayvon Thibodeau. It would be a nice piece to add because he does know how to pass rush. Everything like that is just the schemes and how they do it. But let me know what you guys think. As always, shots out and up, they're down.
I don't think the Bears make any move on a defensive end as far as trading, giving up assets. Like we talked about Za'Darius, right, Smith. I think that level of move is what you see, but I don't think the Bears make any. You got to keep in mind, Deo Odeyingbo was somebody that Dennis Allen handpicked that he wanted on this defensive line. That was Dennis Allen's handpick of who he wanted on the opposite side of Montez Sweat. I don't see them throwing that away for anybody, even if you look at them as a little bit more proven or better than Deo right now, unless it's a huge margin. I think that the Bears are committed to seeing what Deo Odeyingbo can be. Keep in mind, second year, $20 million you're going to be making in the second year of that contract. That's a contract that you give somebody that you expect and hope is going to show you a lot in year one. So I think that is going to be the reasons why. Not to say that you put out a bad trade or a bad target or anything, that you didn't. It's actually a really good target. But I just think in reality and looking at what this team is kind of focused on, they are committed to seeing what Dale can be. They're committed to seeing Austin Booker and Daniel Hardy, how much they step up. And if they feel a little bit of shaky on that, or they feel like they need a little bit more insurance, then a more veteran signing may be the thing. But I don't think they're going to make any trades or anything to give up any huge assets yet. And I think that's where we are with the team. And I, for one, don't think it's a bad thing. We'll see how it's all going to shake out, Keys. But thank you for the voicemail, brother. All right, let's get into the last one for today. This one's from White Boy Larry.
Hey, it's White Boy Larry. First-time caller, short-time listener. I got a shout-out to my boy, Jose Feliciano, for turning me on to you guys. Bears fan in Florida. So I love your podcast. You have short episodes with so much information. It's not even funny. I like everything. And I threw out the White Boy Larry so K2 doesn't get it twisted with Darius, who he thought was a white boy. But he ain't. He's just country. So bear down, Darius. Love you. Bear down, K2. Anyway, I just want to say I love your podcast. It's like you're in my brain. Every single time I'm thinking of something, you are talking about it. The wide receivers, the linebackers, the defensive ends. It doesn't matter what it is. You're on top of it. I cannot regurgitate everything. You know way more than me. I will give you the credit on that. But it is some fantastic stuff that you do. I love it, and I love it when you become Teddy Roosevelt and you just destroy somebody who's talking absolute shit and deserves it. So, amen to that, and keep up the good work. And from Florida, Chi-Town up, bear down. Love you guys.
Hey, bro, we appreciate you so much, man. Yeah, I appreciate you when it comes down to this team, and I'll just say this. I do think that this team is making some steps, and they're progressing, and that's all we can hope for, especially right now before the pads are on. As far as this channel, we always aim to be real. Whether people agree with us or disagree with us, you're gonna know exactly how we feel here at Chicago Bears Central, and we always try to shoot it straight. Right now, we all have our biases, and there are gonna be some things that we do, like, for example, C-Dub and his love of Roschon Johnson. Like, that's one of his sons, right? Like he loves that guy. But even C-Dub would tell you, like, Roschon has to step up if he's going to want to stay here and keep a job in the NFL. So, like, one thing that I love about the team that we have here is I think we do a good job at being fans and having those fan moments, but then also being able to step back from that and say, hey, listen, while I would hope this to work out, this may not happen because of X, Y, Z. And, you know, some of us do a better job at that than others, but I think when it comes down to, we want to build a family here. And we want it to feel like when you are talking to your family members about the Chicago Bears, we want it to maintain that feel. I think that's what we're going to have to do here. And I think that's what it's it. We're going to talk about everything in all aspects of the team. We're going to cover it all, good, bad, or indifferent. And you're going to get our honest opinion. And so we appreciate you riding with us. Appreciate that people are sharing the show with others, and that's how the show grows, because sometimes I admittedly do a terrible job at promoting this on social media, but we appreciate each and every one of you guys, and we ain't going to stop no time soon. But thank you for that voicemail. Great way to end the show on, man. Make sure you guys are following us at Chi Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. No, wrong number. 773-242-9336. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that's thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.